and read Genesis 26 through 29, I believe. I'm going to go back and look. Let's see. And now we are doing, this is week 2 of our reading the Bible, reading the entire Bible in 2026 in 52 weeks. And that don't even sound like a lot when you think about it. You know, a year is not that long. When you really break it down, a year is nothing but a vapor. The beginning of the year come, and as soon as we look up, here comes the end. Here comes Christmas. So, yeah, we got this. 52 weeks reading the entire Bible. And this is a year-long, of course, a year-long Bible study for women. And we are on week 2, which is titled, Giving Up is Not an Option. That's such a good title for the beginning of the year. Giving up is not an option. Now, I just finished reading Genesis 30 through 33. Let me see. I got to open my Bible now. Because I think we stopped, or I stopped on Genesis 29. But let me make sure. Genesis is such a good book. There's so much stuff in there. So much in our history. It's literally talking about our ancestors. So I think I stopped at 29. What was Jacob arrives to Paddan Aram. Jacob marries Leah and Rachel. Jacob returns home is in 31. Okay, I think I stopped on 30. Jacob flocks increases. Just a second. So I stopped at 29. So we'll be reading Genesis 30 through 33. Genesis 30 through 33. And I'm reading out of the NIV version. And this is I think this is study Bible. NIV, yeah. This is a life application study Bible. So 30 to 33. Yep. Because okay, so I stopped at Jacob's children, okay, and we were talking about Jacob's children, okay. And we were talking about how Leah was able to conceive. Jacob didn't love Leah, he loved Rachel, but God closed up Rachel's womb. So because Leah was getting treated unfairly because Jacob loved Rachel and not Leah. So God bless Leah with babies, to have babies. Hey, how you doing? I hope you're doing good tonight. So let's get started. Chapter 30, Genesis chapter 30. This is about to start talking about, the 12 tribes, the brothers, Joseph's brothers. So when Rachel saw that she was not bearing Jacob any children, Rachel saw this because Leah was having all the kids. She became jealous of her sister. So she said to Jacob, "Give me children." Hey, Ashley, how you doing tonight? So she said to Jacob, "Give me children or I'll die." That's what she said. And Jacob became angry with her and said, "Am I in the place of God who has kept you from having children?" Then she said, "Here is Bilhah, my servant. Sleep with her so that she can bear children for me, and I too can build a family through her." Now, who does that sound like? That literally sounds like Sarah and Abraham. And that's their ancestors. And it's so important for us to literally go back and see the demonic patterns that are in our family line so that we won't do the same, won't fall for the same trap. This is so interesting because this is highlighted to me because literally God has been, helping me to heal over demonic patterns, like patterns that just lead me astray from God or just keep me in a cycle. And here we see that in the Bible, they were doing the same things and struggling with the same things as their ancestors. Like Abraham was lying to the Abimelech about Sarah being his wife. He was saying that Sarah's my sister because he thought that they were going to take her, and because she was so beautiful, and do the thing with her. And his son did the same thing. Isaac did the same thing. And so now we see that Rachel is also doing the same thing as Sarah did. When Sarah couldn't have kids, she literally gave her husband her slave, Hagar, and they had Ishmael, which was not the promised child. So we're about to see that take place over again with Jacob and Rachel. So she said to Jacob, "Give me children or I'll die." Jacob became angry with her and said, "Am I in the place of God who kept you from having children?" Then she said, "Here is Bilhah, my servant. Sleep with her so that she can bear children for me, and I too can build a family through her." Now that was not the promise of God, but she trying to do it her own way. Verse 4, so she gave him her servant Bilhah as a wife, and Jacob slept with her, and she became pregnant and bore him a son. Then Rachel said, "God has vindicated me and has listened to my plea and given me a son." Because of this, she named him Dan. Rachel's servant Bilhah conceived again and bore Jacob a second son. Then Rachel said, "I have a great struggle." Hallelujah. They should live and not die to declare the works of the Lord. "I have a great struggle with my sister, and I have won." So she named him Naphtali. When Leah saw that she had stopped having children, she took her servant Zilpah and gave her to Jacob as a wife. They giving everybody to Jacob. Leah's servant Zilpah bore Jacob's son. Then Leah said, "What good fortune." So she named him Gad. Leah's servant Zilpah bore Jacob a second son. Then Leah said, "How happy am I? The woman will call me happy." So she named him Asher. Oh my goodness, I love that name. I love Asher. The woman will call me happy. So she named him Asher. So Asher means happy. During wheat harvest, Reuben went out into the fields and found some mandrake plants, which he brought to his mother Leah. Rachel said to Leah, "Please give me some of your son's mandrakes." But she said to her, "Wasn't it enough that you took away my husband? Will you take my son's mandrakes too?" "Very well," Rachel said. "He can sleep with you tonight in return for your son's mandrakes." That is crazy to think about. Ugh. So when Jacob came in from the fields that evening, Leah went out to meet him. "You must sleep with me," she said. "I have hired you with my son's mandrakes." So now Jacob's a prostitute to his wife. So he slept with her that night. Verse 17, God listened to Leah, and she became pregnant and bore Jacob a fifth son. So God listened to Leah, and she became pregnant and bore Jacob a fifth son. Then Leah said, "God has rewarded me for giving my servant to my husband." So she named him Issachar. Now Issachar, that's interesting because Issachar, that's the tribe who knew how to discern the times and the seasons. So that's a good one to study, Issachar. Verse 19, a good tribe to study. Verse 19, Leah conceived again and bore Jacob a sixth son. Then Leah said, "God has presented me with a precious gift. This time my husband will treat me with honor because I have borne him 6 sons." So she named him Zebulun. And Jacob still didn't love her after that. That literally proves that a baby don't keep no man. or don't make no man love you. Only God. True love. Okay, so sometime later, she gave birth to a daughter and named her Dinah. Then God remembered Rachel. He listened to her and enabled her to conceive. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She said, God has taken away my disgrace. She named him Joseph. Now this is where Joseph come in. Her firstborn. This is Rachel's firstborn after so many years. May the Lord add to me another son. And that makes sense why Joseph was so special. Because it's literally kind of like the story Abraham and Sarah and Hagar and Ishmael. Like, you know, Abraham loved Sarah, but they could not make a child. And so she gave her servant to her husband and created Ishmael, but he wasn't the promised child. He wasn't the chosen child. And this is just the same thing. Rachel couldn't have kids with Jacob. So finally, after a while, just like Sarah, they were finally blessed with Joseph. And he's kind of representing like Isaac. So Jacob's flock increased. Verse 25. So this is verse 25. After Rachel gave birth to Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, send me on my way so I can go back to my own homeland. Give me my wives and children from whom I have served you, and I will be on my way. You know how much work I've done for you. But Laban said to him, if I have found favor in your eyes, please stay. I have learned by divination that the Lord has blessed me because of you. He added, name your wages, and I will pay them. Jacob said to him, you know how I have worked for you, and how your livestock has fared under my care. The little you had before I came was increased greatly, and the Lord has blessed you wherever I have been. But now, when may I do something for my own household? What shall I give you? He asked. Don't give me anything, Jacob replied. But if you will do this one thing for me, I will go on tending your flocks and watching over them. Let me go through all of your flocks today and remove from them every speckled or spotted sheep, every dark-colored lamb, and every spotted or speckled goat. They will be my wages, and my honesty will testify for me in the future. Whenever you check on the wages you have paid me, any goat in my possession that is not speckled or spotted, or any lamb that is not dark-colored, will be considered stolen. Right? That is not. Okay. Agreed, said Laban. Let it be as you have said. That same day he removed all the male goats that were streaked or spotted, and all the speckled or spotted female goats, all that had white on them, and all the dark colored lambs, and he placed them in the care of his sons. Then he put a 3-day journey between himself and Jacob, while Jacob continued to tend the rest of Laban's flock. Jacob, however, took fresh cut branches from poplar, almond, and plane trees and made white stripes on them by peeling the bark and exposing the white inner wood of the branches. Then he placed the peeled branches in all the watering troughs, so that they would be directly in front of the flocks when they came to drink. When the flocks were in the heat and came to drink, right, they made it in front of the branches, and they bore young, that were streaked or speckled or spotted. And Jacob set apart the young of the flock by themselves, but made the rest face the streaked and dark colored animals that belonged to Laban. Thus he made separate flocks for himself and did not put them with Laban's animals. Whenever the stronger females were in the heat, or whatever the strong when whenever the stronger females were in heat, Jacob would place the branches in the troughs in front of the animals so they would mate near the branches. But if the animals were weak, he would not place them there. So the weak animals went to Laban, and the strong ones to Jacob. In this way, the man grew exceedingly prosperous and came to own large flocks and female and male servants and camels and donkeys. Verse 31, chapter 31, I'm sorry. Jacob flees. So this is Jacob fleeing from Laban, which is Rachel, Rebecca, and Leah's dad. Jacob heard that Laban's sons were saying, Jacob has taken everything our father owned and has gained all this wealth from what belonged to our father. And Jacob noticed that Laban's attitude toward him was not what it had been. Then the Lord said to Jacob, go back to the land of your fathers and to your relatives, and I will be with you. So Jacob sent word to Rachel and Leah to come out to the fields where his flocks were. He said to them, I see that your father's attitude towards me is not what it was before, but the God of my father has been with me. You know that I worked for your father with all my strength, yet your father has cheated me by changing my wages 10 times. However, God has not allowed him to harm me. If he said, let me see. Okay. If he said the speckled ones will be your wages, then all the flocks gave birth to the speckled young. And if he said the streaked ones will be your wages, then all the flocks bore streaked young. So God has taken away your father's livestock and has given them to me. In breeding seasons, I once had a dream in which I looked up and saw that the male goats mating with the flocks were streaked, speckled, or spotted. The angel of God said to me in the dream, Jacob. I answered, here I am. And he said, look up and see that all the male goats mating with the flock are streaked, speckled, or spotted. For I have seen all that Laban has been doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar and where you made a vow to me. Now leave this land at once and go back to your native land. Then Rachel and Leah replied, do we still have any share in our inheritance of our father's estate? Does he not regard us as foreigners? Not only has he told us, but he has used up what was paid for us. Surely all the wealth that God took away from our father belongs to us and our children. So do whatever God has told you. Then Jacob put his children and his wives on camels, and he drove all of his livestock ahead of him, along with all the goods he had accumulated in Paddan Aram, to go to his father Isaac in the land of Canaan. So he's finally coming back to the land of Canaan, where Laban had gone to shear his sheep. Rachel stole her father's household gods. So they was worshiping false gods, okay? And that's, they knew about divination. Laban practiced divination. Moreover, Jacob deceived Laban and Arameon, but not telling him he was running away. So he fled with all he had. Hey, Fruitful Hope, how you doing? Hope all is well. Hope you're having a great Saturday. Shabbat. crossed the Euphrates River and headed for the hill country of Gilead. Gilead. I love that song. There's a bomb in Gilead. Speaking about healing, I love that song. I forgot who sung that. The artist who literally just passed. He had a whole lot of. He used to write a whole bunch of choir songs back in the day. Laban pursues Jacob. So this is verse 22. On the third day, Laban was told that Jacob had fled. So on the third day, Laban was told that Jacob had fled. Okay. So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar. He said to his relatives, "Gather some stones." So they took stones and piled them in a heap, and they ate there by the heap. Laban called it Jagar Sahudada, and Jacob called it Galeed. Laban said, "This heap is a witness between you and me today." This is why it was called Galeed. It was also called Mizpah, because he said, "May the Lord keep watch between you and me when we are away from each other. If you mistreat my daughters, or if you take any wives besides my daughters, even though no one is with us, remember that God is a witness between you and me." Laban also said to Jacob, "Here is this heap, and here is this pillar I have set up between you and me. This heap is a witness, and this pillar is a witness that I will not go past this heap to your side to harm you, and that you will not go past this heap and pillar to my side to harm me. May the God of Abraham and the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge between us." So Jacob took an oath in the middle of the fear of his father Isaac. He offered a sacrifice there in the hill country and invited his relatives to a meal. After they had eaten, they spent the night there. Early the next morning, Laban kissed his grandchildren and his daughters and blessed them, and he left and returned home. Chapter 32. Maybe he just didn't want his children to go. Like, you know. Maybe. Okay, so chapter 32. Chapter 32. Where did I start? Because goodness. Let me see. Oh, okay. Okay. Jacob also, this is Jacob prepares to meet Esau. Esau. Jacob also went on his way, and the angels of God met him. Hey, Trinity. When Jacob saw, we on chapter 32. Literally, I just started. When Jacob saw them, he said, "This is the camp of God." So he named the place Mahanaim. Jacob sent messengers ahead of him to his brother Esau in the land of Seir, the country of Edom. He instructed them, "This is what you are to say to my lord Esau. Your servant," Jacob says, "I have been staying with Laban, and we have remained there till now. I have cattle and donkeys, sheep and goats, male and female servants. Now I am sending this message to my lord, that I might find favor in your eyes." When the messenger returned to Jacob, they said, "We went to your brother Esau, and now he is coming to meet you, and 400 men are with him." Whew, he deep. Verse 7. In the great fear and distress, Jacob divided the people who were with him into two groups, and the flocks and herds and camels as well. He thought, if Esau comes and attacks one group, the group that is left may escape. Then Jacob prayed, "O God of my father Abraham, God of my father Isaac, Lord, you who said to me, 'Go back to your country and your relatives, and I will make you prosper.' I am unworthy of all the kindness and faithfulness you have shown your servant. I had only my staff when I crossed this Jordan, but now I have become two camps. Save me, I pray, from the hand of my brother Esau, for I am afraid he will come and attack me, and also the mothers with their children. But you have said, I will surely make you prosper, and will make your descendants like the sand of the sea, which cannot be counted. He spent the night there, and from what he had with him, he selected a gift for his brother Esau: 200 female goats and 20 male goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 female camels with their young, that's a lot, 40 cows and 10 bulls, and 20 female donkeys and 10 male donkeys. He put them in the care of his servants, each herd by itself, and said to his servants, go ahead of me and keep some space between the herds. He instructed the one in the lead, when my brother Esau meets you and asks, who do you belong to? And where are you going? And who owns all these animals in front of you? Then you are to say, they belong to your servant Jacob. They are a gift sent to my lord Esau, and he is coming behind us. He also instructed the second, the third, and all the others who followed the herds. You are to say the same thing to Esau when you meet him. And be sure to say, your servant Jacob is coming behind us. For he thought, I will pacify him with these gifts I am sending on ahead. Later, when I see him, perhaps he will receive me. So Jacob's gifts went on ahead of him, but he himself spent the night in the camp. Now, this is the part where Jacob is wrestling with God. That night, this is good. That night, Jacob got up and took 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 sons, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. After he had sent them across the stream, he sent over all his possessions. So Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him till daybreak. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, so that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Then the man said, let me go, for it is daybreak. But Jacob replied, I will not let you go unless you bless me. The man asked him, what is your name? Jacob, he answered. Then the man said, your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome. Jacob said, please tell me your name. But he replied, why do you ask my name? Then he blessed him there. So Jacob called the place Peniel, saying, it is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared. So he wrestled with God. The sun rose above him as he passed Peniel, and he was limping because of his hip. Therefore, to this day, the Israelites do not eat the tendon attached to the socket of the hip, because the socket of Jacob's hip was touched near the tendon. Wow. So chapter 33, this is the last chapter for tonight. Jacob meets Esau. He meets him. Jacob looked up, and there was Esau coming with his 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah and Rachel and the 2 female servants. He put the female servants and their children in front, Leah and her children next, and Rachel and Joseph in the rear. He himself went on ahead, so he put them as much as he loved them, like he put the servants first, and then Leah's children and him, and then Rebecca. That is crazy, but that's what it is. He himself went on ahead and bowed down to the ground 7 times as he approached his brother. But Esau ran to meet Jacob, and he embraced him. He threw his arms around his neck and kissed him, and they wept. Then Esau looked up and saw the woman and children. Who are these with you? He asked. Jacob answered, they are the children God has graciously given your servant. Then the female servants and their children approached and bowed down. Next, Leah and her children came and bowed down. Last of all came Joseph and Rachel, and they too bowed down. Esau asked, what's the meaning of all the flocks and herds I met? To find favor in your eyes, my lord, he said. But Esau said, I already have plenty, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself. No, please, said Jacob. If I have found favor in your eyes, accept the gift from me. For to see your face is like seeing the face of God. Now that you have received me favorably, please accept the present that was brought to you. For God has been gracious to me, and I have all I need. And because Jacob insisted, Esau accepted it. Then Esau said, let us be on our way. I'll accompany you. But Jacob said to me, my Lord knows that the children are tender and that I must care for the ewes and the cows that are nursing their young. If they are driven hard, just one day, all of the animals will die. Wow. So let my Lord go on ahead of his servant while I move along slowly at the pace of the flocks and herds before me and the pace of the children until I come to my Lord in Seir. Esau said, then let me leave some of my men with you. But why do that? Jacob asked. Just let me find favor in the eyes of my Lord. So that day Esau started on his way back to Seir. Jacob, however, went to Succoth, where he built a place for himself and made shelters for his livestock. This is why that place is called Succoth. After Jacob came to Paddan Aram, he arrived safely at the city of Shechem in Canaan and camped within sight of the city. For 100 pieces of silver, he bought from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, the plot of ground where he pitched his tent. There he set up an altar, called it Elho or Elhi Israel. Amen. That was some good reading. How many chapters is in Genesis? Let's see. It's about 50. So we on 33. We ended with 33. So tomorrow we'll be reading 34 through 36. Chapters 34 through 36. And I think that we're going to go over the questions and yeah, that's when we'll go over the reading with the Bible study. So yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow at the same time or around this time. I'll post on the community about what time I'm coming on, because I really don't know. It's just, I don't know at this point. But every day I'm coming on reading the Bible. So we're reading the entire Bible for 2026. So I hope you all have a blessed day, and I'll see you soon tomorrow.